I'm just about to go into a flat in South London and speak to 4 gang members who carry knives.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Ross Kemp was a badass.
Ross, stay on the track!
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're going to be looking at moments where the documentary icon has been able to show how fearless he truly is. Number 10, Papua Prison.
Look at me, the state of me, how hot I am. I'm on the outside, they're on the inside there.
Going to a prison must be nerve-wracking enough as is, but go in and interview inmates at one of the world's most dangerous prisons, and that's a whole different ballgame. The Papua New Guinea prison is one of the most violent prisons in the world, with the staff throwing multiple offenders in the same cell, which, due to the heat, is something even Ross Kemp couldn't comprehend.
You've got PNG tattooed on your shoulder. You must love your country.
That's right.
You love your country, but why is it so violent?
We are not meant to be murderers, robbers, or what you are mentioning.
Yeah.
Currently, our government has been corrupt.
Ross was allowed through the prisons and asked why the country is so violent to some of the inmates. They seemed nice enough, but gave some eye-opening answers.
About the Western influence, I've been influenced through the internet.
Number 9, explosive suspects.
So how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 males. And how many females?
5.
5 females.
One of the most amazing things about Ross Kemp is his ability to fit in any situation he encounters. Whilst in Afghanistan, him and his crew cover a covert night operation with 45 Commando as they look to arrest 2 suspects who have tested positive for explosives and have been training suicide bombers.
If this test for explosives comes up positive, then this man is in a lot of trouble.
Trekking through Afghanistan is terrifying enough, but the risk of stepping on a mine and being caught in gunfire was huge, so noisy dogs were the last thing the team needed. However, Ross managed to ooze calmness throughout the operation and even assisted the regiment with the operation.
The main suspect, right hand on his wrist, has proved positive for explosives. So, at the moment, it looks like they've got the right guy.
Number 8, the cartel. Ross went to the spot where a local resident and a bus driver were shot dead the day before to talk to some young gang members about the recent murders in Mexico.
What do you do as a part of the gang? Do you sell drugs?
Pues de todo, yo pienso que de todo un poco, desde meterse y asaltar una tienda cercana.
All seemed to be going well until members of the gang continued to drive past, including a guy who works for the cartel. So immediately, the interview was cut short when the young gang members became paranoid that they were being watched.
Every time a car goes past or someone's listening, you think someone's listening in, you're looking over your shoulder. Are you worried about talking to us?
Pues sí.
Whilst interviewing gang members next to a murder hotspot is badass in its own right, there was something really warming about the way Ross ended proceedings, which gives him a whole new dimension.
The guy that works for the cartel has just driven past as well, which had made them more paranoid than they already were.
Number 7, Vegas, baby. The Extreme World crew went across the pond to America in search of finding answers to gang violence in Las Vegas.
You tell me just how violent this neighborhood is?
Past 4 days, they found 3 people dead.
When the episode was filmed, there was roughly 600 gangs in the city with over 20,000 members. To see why this was, Kemp met up with a street gang where one of their associates was recently killed.
So, you shot someone?
Yeah, I got down.
He did what he had to do. He carried a weapon on him at all times.
With 2 of the gang members having criminal records and all of them having state-of-the-art weapons, the 57-year-old kept his calm and managed to get a fascinating interview with the gang.
Walking around carrying 45 caliber weapon that can put a hole in you this size.
That size.
Number 6, George Street.
Jason Brown has considerable clout on the streets and is rumoured to be behind countless contract killings.
George Street is the most feared gang in Belize, with multiple murders occurring each day. Instead of capturing the mood of the place and maybe getting some insight from locals, Ross decided to speak to one of the most respected figures in the gang, Lieutenant Jason Brown.
No more. Because every day it's killing me, every day.
Jason had been behind countless contact killings and usually feels no resentment. However, Kemp managed to learn about Brown's regrets and his desire to leave the gang, which took everyone by surprise. When nighttime approached, Jason took Ross to the gang's most notorious street corner, where he remained fearless despite the obvious concerns.
You're gonna go straight, get your vest on, yeah?
Yeah, man, and I have to stay at my vest after that, even if it's hot, if I sweat, I'd rather sweat than feel lead.
Number 5. Meeting the Taliban.
You remember the Taliban, is that correct?
It's rare that the Taliban gets airtime on Western television, so when Kemp and his crew flew over to Afghanistan, few had expected an interview with them. Ross visited a dreaded prison, which houses some of Afghanistan's most dangerous inmates, including members of Al-Qaeda, where thousands die every year. Whilst there, Ross got the chance to meet and interview the Taliban for the first time.
Haven't the Afghan people suffered enough? What about the suicide bombers and the IEDs?
دیگه شک نسته دا خو طالبانم دا میننم شخی زلمه گبریتونم هم کی خو جنگ ده نو جنگ کتابن داشتنی.
One member he interviewed had previously been brought to the prison for kidnapping 3 members of the UN. Kemp was firm but fair with his questions in what was a nerve-wracking experience.
Many people that I've spoken to, Afghans, say that if the Americans leave, then the Taliban will take over.
Number 4. Northern Ireland.
They're warning them, right, to disperse now, otherwise they're going to unleash with the water cannon.
Any protest in Northern Ireland is bad news for any film crew, journalist, or passers-by. However, filming and presenting right next to the police, who are having missiles thrown in their direction, is completely different. Then again, Ross Kemp is built different to most.
Well, this is a piece of masonry that hit one of the inspectors and broke his leg.
During an episode of Extreme World, Ross was with the police in Belfast that are trying to maintain a protest that has turned violent, which involves both the Loyalists and Republicans. Police officers were being knocked out due to the ferocity of the attacks, but Kemp remains stern and continues to stand with the officers as the protest continues into the night.
Now it's getting dark. Locals are saying they're going to start throwing things a little bit more sophisticated than just bottles and rocks.
Number 3. Caught in an RPG storm. Ross Kemp is never afraid to throw himself into the deep depths of warfare. However, with the TV crews, it is difficult to get into the thick of the action. But when the team were in Afghanistan, the narrative soon changed.
Get down.
Ross was hoping to follow the army and get insights on what it has been like for the past few years, but whilst in the green zone, Kemp and the rest of the regiment get pinned down by Taliban AK-47 and RPG gunfire. In order to get to safety, he must keep low and continue crawling forward away from the open space. In the midst of the chaos, he still had time to describe the situation to the terrified viewers.
These were times when you wish there was enough air support, you know?
Number 2. No one is gonna kill me. Most people find the jungle a scary place, and nearly everyone would shiver when having a gun pointed directly at you.
We were told that we were going to meet some guys that have been involved in some trouble. Yeah?
Okay.
That true?
Yes.
However, if you throw both of those things together, you have one amazing and unmissable bit of television. While hiking, Ross and the crew approach some armed guerrillas, and before they have a chat, he must take part in an initiation. Tobacco and beetle nuts are passed around before some gunmen decide they were bored and pointed their guns at Kemp and the crew.
You gonna kill me? You gonna kill me? Really?
While everyone was kneeling, the former EastEnders star showed his courage and made sure they knew who was boss. Even though it was an initiation, it was truly a badass moment.
Yeah, so I proved myself, eh?
Number 1. Trafficking monster.
We've been told the reason you don't bring girls back is that you kill them. Is that true?
One thing Extreme World has is some incredible interviews. Taliban, ISIS, and gang members have all featured. That will go down in the show's history is the one with the sought-after trafficker from India.
So will you carry on killing young girls to save your own skin?
Despite being investigated for 25 offences, he admitted to being involved and overseeing the murders of at least 400 victims. Kemp and the translator were clearly shocked by this confession, and the interview had to be stopped before Ross lost his temper.
One of the most shocking things I've ever witnessed. And I'm sick.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.